My beloved child, I need you to pause right now. Stop whatever you're doing and lean in close, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because what I'm about to say matters deeply. Something is happening, something urgent. There is someone, a soul, who once crossed your path. Maybe it was only for a brief moment, a fleeting exchange, but that soul is now in trouble. You may not feel it. You might not even remember the moment. But I see everything. I see the full tapestry of your life, the connections, the conversations, the choices, and how they weave together with the lives of others around you. I see what you can't, and I need you to give me just a moment so I can show you what's unfolding, my dear child. You see, your actions, however small, however unintentional, have created ripples, invisible ones. A word you barely recall, a gesture made without much thought, even a silence that lingered too long. They've left impressions, and one of those ripples has now reached someone. They were swept into it unknowingly, and though they are not to blame, they're caught in the aftermath. This happened not because they were wrong, but because certain choices in your life, choices you may not even recognize, have had consequences beyond your sight, beyond your control. The unseen threads that tie soul to soul have tugged this person into a place of danger. And I need you to understand what that means. So listen to me, beloved, because time is pressing. I am not here to accuse you. This is not about shame or blame. This is about truth. This is about opening your eyes to a reality that is unfolding right now. That person trusted you, perhaps too quickly. They let their heart lean toward you, placing hope in your words, faith in your presence, when maybe they should have held back. They spoke when silence may have served them better. They believed when the ground beneath them was not yet steady. And now, they are facing consequences they never expected. And I know what you're thinking. Why me? Why are you telling me this? Because you have a role in this story. I see your heart. I know you never intended harm. I know you didn't set out to wound anyone. And I also know this. When you finally see clearly, when truth settles in, you will act. You always do. That's why I chose you, to bring light into this darkness, to help set things right. Oh, my beloved, sometimes I don't show you the weight of your actions right away. Not because I want to hide it from you, but because I wait for the moment when your heart is ready to respond. And that moment is now. I'm inviting you, no, I'm calling you to look inward, deep into your soul. Reflect on the conversations, the relationships, the moments you've moved through. Maybe someone left quietly, holding back tears you never saw. Maybe someone is still there, waiting, hoping for a word of clarity, or simply a touch that heals what was left undone. But this is not the time for you to fall into guilt. This is not about carrying shame or regret. I am not calling you to feel burdened. I am calling you to rise, to become an instrument of healing. And as you take that first breath of awareness, let me lead you one step deeper. You've begun to open your heart, to see what was once hidden in silence. And now, I want to walk with you further into this moment of healing. I know, deep within you, there's a longing to do what is right. It's not just a fleeting thought. It's a quiet ache, a desire born from the goodness I planted inside your soul. And I'm right here, my child, walking beside you, gently leading you, step by step, into the work of restoration. I know your heart wants to fix what has been broken. That's why I'm calling you to draw near. Listen closely, not just with your ears, but with the beat of your heart. For I am speaking there too. Let me show you who needs you now. Let me bring to your mind the one who's waiting, silently, for a word, for an action, for a sign that they have not been forgotten. This won't be easy. I know that. Sometimes facing the truth is the most painful thing we can do. But I promise you this, you will never walk this path alone, not for a single step. When fear begins to whisper, I will be your strength. When you reach the end of your own words, I will give you mine. And when the weight of making it right feels too heavy to carry, I will carry it with you. I will work through you, because that's who I am, the God who works all things together for good through those who trust me. Oh, my beloved, never forget that everything you do matters. Every choice, every gesture, every word holds meaning. And here's the beauty. It is never too late to begin again. I am not just the God of second chances. I am the God of endless new beginnings. I am restoration itself, and I'm inviting you into that work, not because you're flawless, not because you have all the answers, but because your heart is willing to listen, willing to change, willing to love again. My child, don't you see? In all of this, I'm not only working in the life of the one who's been hurt, I'm working in yours too. This moment isn't just about them. It's also about you. I'm shaping your heart. I'm teaching you what compassion really means. I'm drawing you into deeper forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. I'm showing you the quiet, liberating strength of humility. As you step forward to make peace, however small that step may seem, you'll witness healing, not only in them, but in you. You'll feel the burden lift. You'll sense the freedom that comes when you know you've done what's right. And into that space, I will pour a peace the world could never offer you, peace that settles deep and stays. My beloved, I know your heart. You never meant to harm. You never wished danger or pain on anyone. I see your desire to live with kindness, to love well, to walk rightly with others. But life, my child, is more complex than your intentions. Sometimes, consequences grow from seeds we didn't even know we planted. A word spoken without thought, a decision made without full understanding, a door opened or one left unopened, and suddenly the ripples begin. You see only a fragment, but I see the full picture, from the first thread to the last. I notice the details invisible to your eyes. And now some of those ripples, those consequences, have reached their edge. They are no longer hidden from view. You may think it was just a small exchange, just a moment in time. But I tell you, every word carries weight. Every action has impact. Some can build, others can quietly destroy. And even without malice, even without intent, what flows from you can sink deeper into another's heart than you ever imagined. And so, with gentleness, I invite you to come with me, just a little further. You've begun to understand the depth of how your actions ripple, sometimes without your knowing. But there's more I need to reveal to you, because the battle isn't only emotional, it's spiritual. You cannot see the trap that has been set before them, but I see it plainly. The enemy of souls, the one who prowls in silence and shadows, is watching. It waits, not for your hatred, not for intentional cruelty, but for the smallest sliver of carelessness. Just one unguarded word, one moment where your actions lacked reflection, and the enemy pounces. Its goal is always the same: to sever the connections between hearts, to fracture trust, and to breed division where there once was peace. And so it was. One step, one choice, and the one connected to you crossed into dangerous ground. Not by malice, not by rebellion, but by trust. And in that moment, the enemy moved. I saw it happen. I watched them walk, unknowing, into a place they should never have gone. And now, they stand in the gathering shadows, unseen forces pressing in, and the enemy poised to strike. But hear me, my beloved. This is not the moment to fall into fear. Do not let your heart be imprisoned by guilt or crushed by shame. I am not opening your eyes to weigh you down. I am opening your eyes so that you can rise up and step into your purpose. You have a role in this story. You have the power to choose. And more than that, you have the power to change the outcome. Yes, I know your heart is overwhelmed with questions right now. You may be whispering, "But I didn't do anything wrong." And I understand. I see your confusion. I see the sincerity that lives inside you. I know you never set out to harm. But my child, let me take you deeper. Let me show you that the spiritual world is more real than what your eyes can see. In that unseen world, your choices carry immense weight. Your words are never just sounds. Your actions are never just movements. Every decision you make is like a stone thrown into still waters. Its ripples keep moving, reaching farther than you know. That's why I speak to you now, because someone whose path crossed with yours is walking too close to the edge. They are in danger, and they don't even see it. Perhaps you don't fully see it either, but I do. And I'm telling you, do not dismiss this moment. Do not silence this warning. You may be the only bridge that can reach them. You might be the last light that guides them out of this darkness. I am not placing this weight on you to condemn you. No. I am entrusting this to you because I know what lives in you. I know your strength. I know your heart. And I know, if you are willing, you can help turn the tide. And so, with this truth alive in your spirit, let us lean in even closer. You've begun to see how spiritual weight rests, not just in what you meant to do, but in what you never realized you had done. That realization, though painful, is also powerful. It means you're ready to see deeper and to walk wiser. Life isn't always a matter of black and white. It rarely is. So often, the things we say or do without much thought end up leaving footprints we never meant to leave. Maybe you once spoke a word that pierced someone quietly, and you didn't even know. Or perhaps you chose a path that made sense in the moment, not realizing your steps redirected someone else's journey. These aren't signs of failure. They're signs of how closely lives are connected. And it's not guilt I want you to carry. It's awareness. Because every word you speak, every action you take carries weight and meaning. I am calling you to rise into a new level of maturity, one that sees beyond appearances and begins to sense the spiritual tides that move just beneath the surface. This kind of awareness doesn't come overnight. It's cultivated through openness, humility, and a heart that's willing to love more deeply than before. But I believe in your strength. I know you're ready to carry this responsibility, not as a burden, but as a sacred calling. Beloved, do not let fear or regret freeze you. I am not reminding you of these things to trap your heart in heaviness. I am inviting you into the kind of healing that only comes through love in action. The past may be beyond your grasp, but the present and the future are wide open, waiting to be shaped by your hands. and I trust you with them, because I see the longing in your soul to do what is good and right. That's why I'm asking you, act, reflect, revisit. Is there someone you've left behind in silence? Someone who once stood close but now waits, maybe unknowingly, for a word of peace, an apology, a hand reaching out across the distance. That person may not be expecting it, but perhaps they are hoping. A gentle word, a glance filled with compassion, a sign that they are not alone. And remember, you are not alone either. I am here, always. I will show you what to say. I will teach you how to step forward. You were never meant to carry this weight on your own shoulders. I am your light, your guide. When you don't know where to begin, return to me. Let me make all things clear again. I will place the words on your lips, the peace in your steps, and I will walk beside you with every choice you make. Sometimes, the smallest word has the power to calm a coming storm. Sometimes, a single act of kindness pulls someone back from the edge. Don't underestimate love. Don't belittle compassion. These are not just feelings, they are forces. And often, they are the key that unlocks healing, not only for others, but for your own soul. I do not accuse you. I do not point a finger of blame. I know who you are. I know the goodness in your heart. I know you are willing to change when you see that something has gone wrong. And it's that willingness, that softness, that draws me even closer to you. I don't need you to be perfect. I only need you to be willing. Every challenge you face is an invitation to grow, to learn love at a deeper level, to discover what it means to forgive and be forgiven. And in choosing to walk that path, you'll see healing not only blossom in others, but awaken in you. I will uphold you. I will empower you, and I will never leave your side. But hear me now, my child. What I speak today is not meant to frighten, but to awaken. The enemy has crept in. Yes, not through a doorway you flung wide open, but through one you left slightly ajar. A moment of distraction, a careless word, an unintended silence. That's all it takes. A whisper-thin opening, and darkness found its way in. But before you fear, pause, because you still have a choice. And together, we can close the door. Let's take that next step, together. You've seen now how even the smallest doorway, left unattended, can become an entrance for darkness. And that's why what you do next matters more than you realize. This is not the moment for hesitation or second guessing. This is not the time to sit quietly and hope things fix themselves. My beloved child, you must seek me, truly seek me, not out of habit, not as a formality, but with the full weight of your sincerity and urgency. This is a sacred call to cry out, not only for your own soul, but for theirs. The one whose life is quietly hanging in the balance, even if they have no idea what danger they are walking toward. This is not about being dramatic. It's about being awakened to a very real spiritual emergency. There is still time, but time is not a luxury in moments like this. The window of opportunity is narrow and fragile, like a flame flickering in the wind. You cannot delay. You cannot wait for a more convenient time, because the enemy, he doesn't wait. He moves quickly, quietly, weaving deception into what seems ordinary. And while that person might be living as though everything is fine, continuing their routines without suspicion, a trap is already being set. They may think the path they're walking is safe, but I see the invisible snare that lies just one step ahead. My child, The enemy is manipulating the unseen threads, twisting truth, distorting what is real, clouding their discernment. But I'm not telling you this to burden your spirit. I'm telling you because you hold a vital role in this story. Yes, you. I have chosen you to stand in the gap. I have positioned you to be the wall of spiritual protection. You are the bridge, the vessel through which light can shine into the very place where darkness gathers. This is the time to fight, not with hands, but with the fire of prayer, with the sword of faith. When you kneel before me, you are not retreating, you are rising. When your voice reaches me in intercession, you are summoning a force the enemy cannot withstand. This is not a battle you face alone. I am with you. My presence surrounds you, and my power, oh, my power, it is greater than any weapon formed against you or them. And beloved, hear this well. Prayer is not a desperate measure for when all else fails. It is not a backup plan. It is your first weapon, your greatest weapon. It is your divine authority unleashed. Your prayers have the capacity to shift outcomes, to tear down schemes crafted in darkness, to rescue souls who are already walking the edge of despair. You might not see it with your natural eyes, but I see everything. And every time you pray, you are partnering with me to bring salvation, restoration, and light into the places where it's needed most. Now, draw near to me again, for there is still more I want to show you. You've heard me say it before. This battle isn't just about someone else's rescue. It's about your transformation too. And that's why I chose you. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. You may still feel uncertain, telling yourself, I'm not strong enough, I'm not holy enough to make a difference. But hear me clearly. I did not choose the perfect. I chose the available. I chose the willing heart that says, Here I am, Lord. When you decide to step into the gap and respond to my prompting, instead of brushing it aside, you're giving me permission to work through you in ways far greater than you could ever imagine. You become a vessel, not by your strength, but by your surrender. Find a quiet place, my beloved. Step away from the noise, even if just for a few moments. Come where you can hear me clearly. I am there, waiting, not with judgment, but with open arms. Let your heart speak freely. Don't hold back, don't pretend, don't hide. I already know your thoughts, even before they form on your tongue. But still, I long to hear them from you, because prayer is not just about asking, it's about connecting. I want you to feel my presence. I want you to know that I'm not just the one who listens. I am the one who moves, who acts, who defends, and who saves. So ask me boldly. Ask for mercy to cover this moment before it slips too far. Ask for divine intervention, for me to step in and turn the tide. Call for protection, for light to pierce through the places where darkness is gathered, for truth to be revealed where lies have taken root, and for every scheme of the enemy to be shattered. Ask me for wisdom, true spiritual wisdom, so you'll know what to say, when to speak, when to stay silent, and how to lead this beloved soul back to a place of safety. Even when you don't see immediate change, even when the silence feels heavy, trust that I am working behind the scenes. Every single one of your prayers is recorded. Not a word is wasted. I operate not on your clock, but on perfect timing, and I have never failed to protect those who belong to me. You are not praying into a void. You are shaking spiritual foundations with every whisper of faith. And this moment, It isn't only about their breakthrough, it's also about yours. Each time you pray, something shifts inside you. Your faith grows deeper. Your eyes begin to see more clearly. Your heart learns to trust me more intimately than ever before. I'm not just using you to reach someone else. I'm using this very situation to draw you closer to me. Yes, I know your thoughts have been spinning. I know the swirl of doubt that says, maybe later. Maybe when I feel more ready. Maybe this isn't even my fault. But my child, don't let those voices silence your calling. Do not delay. Don't wait for the storm to grow before you take shelter in me. Time is a holy gift, and every second holds eternal weight. The enemy wastes no moment. It moves in silence, cloaked in subtlety. But I, the maker of heaven and earth, move with power unmatched. I act when you call. And now, there is one more thing I long to remind you. You've heard me speak of the urgency, the weight of prayer, the call to stand in the gap. And now I want to show you what happens when you truly respond with an open heart. If you choose to listen to me now, if you lay down every hesitation, every excuse, and simply open your heart, I will act on your behalf. I will not delay. I will step in. I will surround that person with divine protection like armor, and I will destroy every plan, every scheme, every shadow the enemy has placed in their path. But my child, do not let waiting become agreement with darkness. Don't allow the reasoning in your mind, the maybe later or maybe someone else, to become walls that block me from moving. I am ready. But I wait for you to say yes. You might still think, this isn't mine to carry. I'm not involved. But listen, nothing in my design is ever random. Every encounter, every relationship, even the briefest interaction, is woven with eternal purpose. You were placed in that person's life, not just to pass through, but to be a light. Right now, in this moment, you are that light. Your prayers carry weight beyond what you feel. When you speak to me, even with trembling lips, you release power from heaven to earth. Every cry, every whisper, every unspoken ache of your heart is heard. I catch every tear, even the silent ones. And when you seek me, not half-heartedly, but with all that you are, I respond with my most powerful presence. Do you remember what I've done for you? The times when you were cornered, when the path forward vanished, and I made a way? When the storm raged around you, and I covered you with peace? When you were too weak to stand, and I carried you? I was there, every time. And now, I want to do for others what I once did for you, through you. You don't need grand gestures or eloquent words. You don't need to perform. You only need to be honest and willing. Just speak. Just whisper. Just lift your heart. That alone can shake the heavens. Because the power of prayer has never been in its length, but in its sincerity, in the faith that reaches for me when all seems lost. Believe me, beloved, I can turn any situation around. No matter how far it seems to have gone, no matter how entangled the circumstances appear, I hold all authority. The enemy may think it has gained ground, but I will uproot every lie, tear apart every trap, and flood even the darkest corners with my light. When you pray, I move. That person may still be unaware of how close danger lies, but I see it. I see the steps they're about to take, the ledge just ahead, and I see you, your heart stirred, your spirit trembling, wanting to help but unsure how. This is how. through me, through prayer, through trust. You are not alone in this battle. I will be your strength when your voice shakes. I will guide you when the path feels unclear. I will give you words when silence feels safer. And I will uphold you, so that through you, I may uphold the one whose life now depends on your willingness to respond. And there's more I want you to understand, beloved. Something even deeper about who you truly are. You've already begun to sense it, that this isn't only about someone else's rescue, but also about your own renewal. And now, I want to take you deeper into what I've been preparing in you all along. Oh, my beloved child, please do not let fear whisper lies into your heart. Do not let those feelings of unworthiness chain your hands when I've already declared you chosen. I'm not asking you for perfection. I never have. I'm asking for your willingness. That's all. I don't need you to figure everything out. You don't have to understand the entire picture or see the full path ahead. You simply need to trust that I'm already moving through you, weaving my will through every willing step you take. When you step into this spiritual battle with me, when you say yes, despite the trembling in your soul, you will begin to witness something miraculous. Not only will the person you're interceding for begin to see light pierce their darkness, but you, yes you, will begin to feel a transformation within your own heart. The shift will be undeniable. Your spirit will strengthen. Your faith will expand. Your eyes will start to recognize my fingerprints in places you once overlooked. Because, my child, this story is not just about them. It's about you too. I'm using this moment to draw you closer to me, to deepen the bond between us, to teach you not only about the power of prayer, but about the kind of faith that moves mountains. Every time you call on me, our connection grows. Every cry, every plea, every whispered prayer is forming a bridge between your heart and mine. And this, my beloved, isn't new. I've been speaking this into you again and again. You've heard me call your attention to the power that rests in your words, the invisible weight that your choices carry. I've shown you the reach of your influence, even when you couldn't see it. You're not living in isolation. You are not a drifting soul in an empty sea. You are connected, deeply, divinely, intricately, to those I've placed in your life. None of them came by accident. None of them crossed your path without purpose. Every choice you make, no matter how small it seems, ripples outward. When you act in love, that love spreads like light on water, reaching places far beyond your imagination. When you speak with kindness, your words plant seeds, not just in the visible realm, but in the unseen world of the heart. And depending on how you speak, those seeds will either bloom with hope or fade into silence. Even your smallest decisions, those moments you thought no one noticed, have echoes. And those echoes are reaching others even now. And so, I invite you to keep walking with me, because there is still more I want to reveal about how powerful your presence truly is. You've begun to grasp the weight of your presence, the unseen impact of your choices, and that's exactly why I'm speaking to you now. With urgency and love. Something has been set in motion, something that began not from evil intention, but from words and actions that unknowingly stirred the spiritual atmosphere. And unless you act, unless you respond, that movement will continue forward to a place it was never meant to reach. What was once just a ripple now threatens to become a wave, and that is why you must rise before it crashes. You are not powerless, my beloved. Do not let that lie take root in your spirit. You have not been left without the tools. You are not without authority. I have equipped you, fully, not only with the awareness to see what's unfolding, but with the power to respond. The kind of power that moves mountains and silences storms. The enemy would have you believe otherwise. He whispers doubts in the quiet places of your mind. You're too weak. It's not your job. It's too late to make a difference. Lies. All lies. Because the enemy knows something about you that you have yet to fully claim. Your prayers carry power. That's why he works so hard to silence them. He fears the moment you awaken to who you really are. Because once you do, you become a force no darkness can resist. And this is where many fall. The moment where they believe that doing nothing is safer than doing something imperfect. But my child, silence is not neutral. In moments like this, silence can become agreement with what should be opposed. Indifference can become the ground where darkness grows unchecked. But you, my beloved, are not called to that kind of quiet. I have placed within you a divine gift, the ability to pray with impact, to intercede with authority, and to stand like a shield between danger and the innocent. You are not watching from the sidelines. You are the wall of protection. You are the voice that lifts heavenward when others don't know they're in danger. They may not see the battle forming around them, but you do. You know. And that knowledge is not a burden. It is a calling. So do not let hesitation rob this moment. Do not let fear tell you to be still when I am calling you to speak. Every prayer you lift is not only shaping what happens now, it's shaping what is yet to come. It is writing a future filled with redemption and light, even before your eyes see the change. I did not choose you because your life was flawless. I chose you because I saw the desire in your heart to do what is right. And that desire, that longing to stand in the gap, is what makes you a vessel of healing and hope. Never forget this, my child. Your prayer is not a whisper into emptiness. It is a weapon forged in faith. And in the hands of the willing, it is unstoppable. So let your spirit stay open, because what I want to show you next will help you see just how far your reach truly extends. You've come to understand that prayer is not a fallback. It's a frontline weapon. And now I want you to see just how powerfully it opens the gates for me to move where you cannot. Prayer is not what you do when all else has failed. It is what you do first, because it carries the authority to change what human strength never could. It is the key that unlocks my intervention in the realm you cannot see. When you pray, my child, you are not just speaking words into the air. You are calling down heaven. You are inviting me into the situation to move in ways you could never move on your own. All I ask is that you open your mouth in faith. Speak, and I will act. You may sometimes feel small in this vast, loud, and chaotic world. You may wonder, what difference can I really make? But do not underestimate the power I have placed within you. One heart, praying with sincerity and unwavering faith, can shift entire nations. If I can change the course of empires through the prayer of one prophet, how much more can I move through you to reach one soul, especially the one I am bringing to your heart right now? This person you are being stirred to pray for. They are not just struggling. They are lost in a fog of confusion, unable to find their way out. Inside them, chaos is growing. They are surrounded by nameless fears, hidden anxieties, the weight of things they cannot even explain. Their heart feels as if it's collapsing under pressure, and in their desperation, they are beginning to act out of fear, not wisdom. They are listening, but not to me. They are hearing other voices now, voices of accusation, of doubt, of shame, lies wrapped in familiar tones, whispering unworthiness, pushing them to question everything: my love, their value, even the trustworthiness of the people I've placed around them. They no longer see clearly. Every step they take is cloaked in shadow, and that's where you come in, my beloved. If you don't rise up, if you don't stand in the gap and lift your voice, those voices will become louder. That darkness will become heavier. If you do not step into your calling and seize my promises, declaring my authority, my truth, my light, the enemy will gain ground. He doesn't need a gaping door. A small crack is enough. A moment of silence, a second of passivity, a seed of doubt, and he slips in, spreading sorrow and division like poison. But hear me, you were never meant to stand back and watch. I did not create you for passive observation while darkness gains territory. I formed you to be a voice that cuts through shadows. I called you to intercede, to cry out, to believe with unwavering faith that when you speak my name, I will move. I will protect that soul. I will dismantle the deception. I will show you what you could not see before. And more than that, I will teach you. I will open your understanding so that you begin to grasp the spiritual chain that links your words, your actions, and their ripple effect on others. You are not insignificant. You are not just one voice in the crowd. You are my instrument, shaped by me, filled with my spirit, appointed to carry my light into the darkest places. I will not keep you from falling by instilling fear. No, I will equip you by sharpening your awareness so that you can walk through this world with discernment, wisdom, and peace. You are not called to wander blindly. You are not left to guess your way forward. You are empowered by my Spirit, the very same Spirit that raised the dead, gave sight to the blind, and restored the broken. And if that Spirit lives within you, then let me remind you now what that means for what comes next. You now understand what power has been placed within you, and I am not asking you to admire it from a distance. I am calling you to use it. Do not wait, my beloved. Do not stand frozen at the threshold of obedience. Time is moving, and with each second of hesitation, the enemy takes another step forward. This is not the moment for passivity. This is the moment for response. Do not wait to feel ready, because readiness is not a requirement for my calling. I do not summon the prepared. I prepare those whom I call. So come to me just as you are. Bring your worries, your uncertainties, even your trembling fears, and I will transform them into strength, into unshakable faith. Pray, not as a routine, not with empty words, but with a heart that bleeds compassion, a heart that knows I am listening. Lift up that person, the one whose soul is now connected to your obedience. Declare my covering over their life. Speak my promises boldly, that no weapon formed against them shall prosper, that I am their refuge, their stronghold, their shield in times of trouble. Proclaim truth over their mind, their path, their future. Let my light pierce through the fog. Let every lie, every deception sown by the enemy be exposed under the radiance of my truth. And then, my child, watch what I will do. I will not simply block the attack. I will not only protect, I will transform. What the enemy meant for harm, I will turn for good. This situation, heavy and complicated as it may seem, will become a moment of growth, not just for them, but for you. You will discover that through prayer, through simple, humble, Relentless prayer. You don't just change the course of events. You shift destinies. You alter the landscape of hearts. You participate in eternal things. Do not let the enemy convince you that your prayers are weak or meaningless. Do not be fooled by silence or delay. Every single prayer you lift carries weight, real weight, in the spiritual realm. Each time you speak my name, you activate my power. Every whisper of faith unleashes a force the enemy cannot resist. You are not just hoping for a breakthrough. You are commanding one through the authority I have given you. You are my warrior, chosen and anointed. And when you rise in faith, when you speak from that place of trust and conviction, chains will break, barriers will fall, darkness will scatter. Let me work through you. Let me shine through you. Let me use you as a vessel of healing, of freedom, of restoration for the ones who are wandering and afraid. But this is more than rescue. It is transformation. You are not simply saving a life from danger. You are becoming something greater, a bearer of my light, a reflection of my love, a living invitation to the broken. And you are not alone in any of this. I am beside you, strengthening your hands, lifting your heart, breathing courage into your soul. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound and steady mind. You are mine, chosen for such a time as this. And through you, I will reveal my wonders. There is one more truth I need you to see, my beloved, one that will forever change the way you walk through each day. You've heard me call you chosen, empowered, and entrusted. And now, I need you to understand why your every step holds more meaning than you may have ever known. You might believe that your actions are small, private choices, that what you do touches only you. But, my child, nothing could be further from the truth. Every decision you make, every word you release into the world, carries a weight far deeper than your eyes can see. There is power in even your most fleeting expressions. What may feel momentary to you can echo for years in the life of someone else. A sigh of frustration, a sentence spoken in anger, a silence filled with absence. These are not trivial. They form ripples that move beyond your awareness, just like a stone dropped into still water, unseen, yet spreading endlessly. You may have acted out of fear or hurt, believing that if there were any consequences, only you would feel them. But that is not how the spiritual world works. Influence doesn't stop at the edge of your skin. Even the smallest gesture can ignite a change. A gentle word has the power to uplift an entire soul. A careless remark can cause a scar that lingers for years. One impulsive choice can set someone on a path they were never meant to walk, and you may never even know it happened. But, my child, just as your actions can wound, they can also heal. Your influence is not confined to those you see daily. It stretches beyond boundaries, across circles of community, into future generations. What you do, what you say, and even what you allow yourself to believe, all of it becomes part of the atmosphere you carry. You shape the air around you. You affect the people who walk beside you, and even those who cross paths with you for only a moment. You were never meant to live isolated in this world. You are not an island, drifting alone in some distant sea. You are connected, divinely and intentionally, to those I've placed on your path. Every interaction, every glance, every word has purpose. Even a stranger brushing past you on the street is a thread in the grand tapestry of your story, and you in theirs. What you offer in that passing moment, even unknowingly, could be the spark of hope they've been searching for. A word of encouragement from your lips may reach someone in their darkest day. A small act of patience could stop someone from giving up. On the other hand, a cold look, a harsh word, a moment of silence when love was needed, could deepen a wound that's already bleeding. Beloved, your life and the lives of those around you are not separate threads. They are interwoven, woven into a vast, sacred tapestry where every detail matters. Your choices affect the roads others walk, the way they see themselves, the way they see me. Do you know that a small, sincere act of yours could be the very doorway that leads someone to me? That a silent prayer you whisper could bring peace to a person you'll never even meet in this lifetime? Even a simple, loving gaze from you might be enough to melt the loneliness in a heart on the verge of despair. Conversely, your indifference, your hesitation to love, your silence in the moment of another's need, it can become a shadow, a wall that keeps someone from seeing my light. You cannot control every outcome, but you can control how you show up. You can choose awareness. You can choose love. You can choose to be present, not just physically, but spiritually, wherever I place you. You were created with a purpose, and that purpose is far greater than what you see in front of you. And so now, my child, I invite you to see your life not from your own eyes, but from mine. You've seen how your life is intricately woven into the lives of others. Now let me remind you of who you truly are in that great tapestry. You are the light in a dark and weary world. You are the salt of the earth. You are the one I have called to carry my love and hope to those who feel forgotten, to those who are wandering, and to those who can no longer see the path home. My child, you may look at yourself and feel small, insignificant, but never forget, even a single drop of water creates ripples across the surface of an entire lake. Even the tiniest seed, when planted in rich soil, can become a tree so strong and wide it offers shade to generations. You are that seed. I planted you here not to simply exist, but to grow, to flourish, and to bear fruit that nourishes lives beyond your own. Live with this awareness that you are not separate from those around you, that every second you are present is a chance to bring goodness, to reflect my nature. Let my love flow through you, freely, fully, so that even the smallest action, even the quietest word, becomes a mirror of my mercy and light. When you begin to live through this lens, everything shifts. Life is no longer random. Difficulties lose their heaviness because you now see them as sacred lessons. Brief encounters no longer feel meaningless. They become holy moments, divine appointments where seeds of kindness can be planted in hearts that need healing. Every day, every hour, becomes part of your greater purpose. A journey not just of survival, but of impact. A daily rhythm where you walk, love, and glorify me in the ordinary, which then becomes extraordinary. When you choose to act with gentleness instead of harshness, when you choose patience instead of frustration, compassion instead of judgment, you do more than make someone's day easier. You plant seeds, seeds of hope, seeds of transformation. A small spark of light in a person's heart that may grow into healing they never even knew they needed. You may never see the result, but I do. I see how a hug becomes an anchor, how a kind glance becomes someone's reminder that they matter, how a quiet word, spoken from a place of love, can become the first step out of the pit of despair. You don't see the silent wars being fought within others, but I do. And I know the light you carry has the power to reach even the most hidden shadows within them. But beloved, this holy responsibility doesn't end with doing good alone. The influence you carry continues when you walk in selfishness too. When you allow coldness, impatience, or indifference to lead you, that too ripples outward. A careless comment can shatter trust. A dismissive act can wound deeply. Thoughtless behavior can push someone away from the very light they were seeking. And you may never know the damage done, but I see it. I feel it with them. That's why I'm calling you to live with deeper awareness. And in this next part, I want to show you how that awareness becomes your shield and your offering. You now understand how even the smallest gesture carries meaning, and that realization is not meant to weigh you down, but to awaken you to the holy calling woven into your everyday life. You were never meant to carry this weight alone, my beloved child. Though the responsibility is real, you were never expected to bear it in your own strength. I am with you, but still, you must remain deeply aware that every action you take holds power, eternal, spiritual power. You are not simply a person trying to be kind. You are the bearer of my light in a world that so desperately needs it. And with that light comes a sacred responsibility to guard it, to nourish it, and to let it flow outward to protect, uplift, and build others, not tear them down. You are where you are not by chance. I placed you in your exact position, in this exact season, for reasons you may not yet fully grasp. Nothing in your life is random. Nothing is accidental. Every person surrounding you, whether family, friend, coworker, or stranger, was placed near you by my hand. I orchestrated their presence not just so you could bless them, but so that they too could shape and refine you. They are not interruptions in your story. They are part of your assignment, your transformation. Your life matters more than you know. Your very existence is purposeful. Not a single breath, not a single hour of your life has ever been meaningless. I saw you long before the world did, before even your mother knew your name. I formed you. I breathed my purpose into your soul, and I have mapped out every step of your path with divine care. You are not just one among billions. You are a vital brushstroke in the grand masterpiece I'm painting across generations and nations. You carry within you influence that ripples across hearts and destinies. One smile from your face, genuine, spirit-filled, can calm the storm inside a weary heart. One kind word from your lips can rekindle faith in someone who has given up. One quiet act of compassion, done without recognition, could be the very turning point that keeps someone from slipping into despair. But understand, that same power also carries weight when used carelessly. A word spoken in frustration, a gesture made in haste, can wound a soul already fragile. You may not see it, but I do. I feel the pain it causes. And this is why I speak so intentionally to you, not to make you feel pressured or crushed under responsibility, but to help you see, to truly see the power I have placed within you. The kind of power that can glorify me, not only through mighty works, but in the smallest, simplest expressions of love and truth. And now, my child, let me show you what it means to carry that power with joy and reverence. You've come to understand the depth of your influence. Now let me remind you why I called you light in the first place. You are the light in this dark and shadowed world. I have placed you intentionally where darkness tries to dwell, not so you would be consumed by it, but so you would shine, boldly, gently, persistently. You do not live apart from this world, floating above it in isolation. No, you live within it, and every soul you encounter, even those who pass by in a blink, are part of the greater story I am carefully and lovingly writing. You may never realize how a moment, a glance, a greeting, a pause to listen, can change someone's direction, but I do. I see how a simple conversation can plant a seed of hope that later blossoms into strength. I know how one gentle gesture can become the lifeline that helps someone rise again after they've fallen. I want you to start seeing your life from a wider angle, with eternal vision. Every moment you are alive holds the power to usher in light, to offer warmth in someone's cold, to bring comfort in confusion. You may be the only person in someone's entire world who helps them feel truly seen, truly accepted, and unconditionally loved. You may be the only light that ever reaches the innermost corners of their wounded heart. And I know, oh my beloved, I know there are days when this weight feels too heavy to carry. I know there are moments you feel weary, uncertain whether you can continue. But hear me clearly. I never asked you to carry it alone. I did not call you and leave you stranded. I am with you always. When your arms tremble, I uphold you. When you don't know where to go next, I will guide your steps. You don't need to be flawless to reflect my glory. You only need a heart that's open to me. Let me work through you. I have given you everything you need, not just to endure, but to love abundantly. My spirit is within you. That spirit will give you discernment to see when someone's soul is silently crying out. It will whisper to your heart when to speak words of life, and when simply being present is enough. I have placed within you a heart that feels pain, not just for yourself, but for others. And I will teach you how to use that compassion to bring healing where there has been silence for far too long. Beloved, in this constant rush of life, it's easy to forget what matters most. You wake, you work, you push forward, often consumed by tasks, deadlines, goals, and needs. But pause with me now. Step back. Look again, not at your schedule, but at the bigger picture. What if everything you call routine is actually divine? What if behind every ordinary moment is a deeper invitation to love? I am inviting you to see life not as disjointed fragments, but as a sacred story, one I am weaving together with care. You are not a spectator. You are not merely drifting from moment to moment. You are part of the masterpiece. And as we continue, I want you to discover just how deeply intertwined your thread is with the hearts of those around you. As you begin to live with this deep awareness of divine connection and purpose, your entire way of moving through life will begin to shift. You'll no longer see your days as checklists to complete or goals to chase, but as sacred ground where every step, every interaction, every decision carries eternal significance. You'll begin to see people differently, not as obstacles or background noise, but as beloved souls, each one bearing my image. You will start to look at others with new eyes filled with compassion, patience, and unconditional love. That's why I call you to live with wisdom. Do not let your words fly carelessly from your mouth. Pause. Breathe. Let your heart align with mine before you speak. Words can build bridges, or they can become invisible daggers that wound deeply and leave lasting scars. Let your speech carry grace, healing, and courage. And let your actions be born not from impulse or ambition, but from a clear and holy intention to bring life, to bring hope, to bring me into every space you touch. You cannot live as if you are alone on this earth. You are surrounded by those I love. Everyone you meet, whether they look like you or live like you or not, is my child. Their presence in your path is not coincidence. It is design. I placed them there for you to love. I placed you there for them to experience my love through you. They are part of your story, just as you are part of theirs. And through each relationship, I am shaping you, refining you, deepening your capacity to love beyond convenience, beyond preference, beyond what feels safe. My beloved child, every relationship in your life is a chapter in your transformation. Each one, whether short or long, joyful or difficult, is a step in your journey of growing closer to my heart. When you love others, not for what they can give you, but with sincerity, patience, and selflessness, something miraculous happens. Healing begins, not just in them, but in you. Love is not merely a gift that flows outward. It is a river that returns. It softens your heart. It shapes your soul, and it draws you closer to me. Never underestimate the power of even the briefest encounter. A gentle smile, a kind word, or a moment of truly listening could be the very thing that shifts someone's entire day, or even their life. You never know what quiet battles they are carrying. You never know who is praying silently for a sign that they are not alone. And often, you are the answer to that prayer. So I call you, child, not to love only when it feels easy or when the people around you return that love. I call you to love completely, with all your heart, to open your arms to all whom I place in your path, to love when it's inconvenient, to love when it's hard, to love not only those who understand you, but also those who don't know how to love you back. For this is how the world will see me, through love that defies conditions. You were not made to go through life alone. I created you for community. You were born to connect, to share, to belong to something far greater than your own plans or needs. Every choice you make doesn't just shape your life. It leaves a legacy. It ripples into the lives around you and can even touch generations that will follow. So look at every relationship through the lens of gratitude. See each person not as random, but as a sacred gift, sent to teach, to stretch, to awaken something in you that only love can reveal. And now, my child, I want to draw your heart into one final truth, something that will seal this message deep within you. And as you continue to walk in connection with others, never forget this. Love is never lost. Compassion is never wasted. Every act of kindness, every gesture of mercy, every word rooted in love, it is seen. Even when you see no fruit, even when change doesn't come as quickly as you hoped, know this: nothing is forgotten in the spiritual realm. Each loving seed you sow is recorded in heaven. It may take time, but in due season, those seeds will bloom into something beautiful, perhaps in ways you'll never see with your eyes, but will echo eternally. My beloved child, I am calling you to live with a heart anchored in gratitude and humility. Begin each day with thanksgiving, not just for the blessings that feel obvious, but for the opportunity to simply breathe, to connect, to share light in a world that so often forgets its own shadows. Approach each moment not as a right, but as a gift, and carry this awareness with a humble heart. Remember, you are not the center of the universe, but you are, beyond doubt, an irreplaceable part of my divine design. Your worth is not defined by your performance, your achievements, or your perfection. Your value is found in who you are. My child, deeply known, fully loved, and never forsaken. Every step you take along this journey carries more weight than you imagine. When you walk in love, when you let patience, gentleness, and kindness shape your tone and your actions, you do more than live well. You reflect me. You become a living mirror of my heart. And through you, my light shines into places that desperately need healing. You bring hope to those who have none. You carry peace into restless hearts. You stir faith in those who are beginning to forget how to believe. But my dear one, I must speak truthfully. The same light you carry can be dimmed when selfishness takes the lead. When you act out of pride, or let fleeting desires and temporary passions cloud your mind and rule your heart, you begin to reflect something that is not of me. In those moments, my image, so beautifully placed within you, becomes obscured. The light I lit in you becomes covered, and the shadows of this world begin to settle over your soul. You were not made for that. You were not born to walk in darkness, nor to hide the radiance I've entrusted to you. And now, my beloved, I long to show you how to protect that light, how to live in a way that guards the treasure I've placed within your spirit. You've seen how love reflects my heart. But now, you must also see clearly how selfishness can distort the path I set before you. This is not just a harmless choice or a passing mistake. It is a weight, a burden that wounds not only those around you, but your own soul. Every time you allow the darkness of selfishness to guide your steps, you're not simply making a wrong turn. You're stepping away from the road of life, the sacred path I designed for you before time began. And I do not take that lightly, because you were never made for that path. You were not created to stumble in shadows, nor to be led by fleeting wants or temporary desires. You were made to walk in light, to carry my blessing into the world, and to fulfill a calling so unique, so powerful, that no one else can take your place in it. But when you let selfishness lead, it doesn't just damage relationships, it slowly hollows you from within. It carves out space where peace used to live. It pulls you away from joy, from clarity, from the abundance I have already prepared for you. It leads you into confusion, into loneliness, into a sense of disconnection you can't quite explain. Suddenly, even success feels empty. Even pleasure feels short-lived. That is the silent cost of a self-focused life. And I understand, my child. I know it's not easy. The world you live in shouts so loudly. It praises self-interest. It celebrates independence that cuts off compassion. It teaches you to chase happiness no matter who it hurts. The messages flood in every day. Think only of yourself. Take what you want. You deserve everything, no matter the cost. But those voices do not lead to joy. They lead to ruin. They fill your life with noise, but leave your heart aching in silence. And the more you run after what the world calls success or pleasure, the further you drift from your true self and from the purpose I carefully placed inside of you. Because you were never meant to live only for yourself. I created you for something greater. A story bigger than you. A mission rooted in love. A life that touches others. A calling that brings light, hope, and healing to a world that's breaking. You are part of my design, and I did not make you for shallow living. I made you to carry meaning, to carry my image, to live with holy intention. So do not let the world name you. Do not let its voices define your worth. You are not what they say you are. You are not your failures. You are not your past. You are not your impulses or cravings. You are my child, crafted in my image, set apart with purpose, destined for a life far richer than anything the world could offer. And now, my beloved, Let me take you deeper into that truth, so you may never again forget who you truly are. Now that you see who you truly are, my child, created in purpose and called to carry light, you must also see the urgency in how your daily choices echo far beyond what you perceive. Do not let the enemy convince you that your choices don't matter. That is one of his most dangerous lies. He whispers, "What difference does one small action make?" But my beloved, I have already shown you the truth. One small light can break the grip of darkness. One act of kindness can shift the course of a soul. And as much as light heals, darkness wounds. I must speak to you with clarity, because to understand the beauty of restoration, you must first acknowledge the damage that brokenness can cause. Light only shines fully when we remember the weight of shadows. Healing only becomes precious when we understand the depth of pain. And yes, the reverse is always true. When you let selfishness settle in your heart, when you allow uncontrolled anger to flare, when bitterness begins to take root, you're not only distancing yourself from peace, you're planting seeds of destruction in others. A sharp word, spoken without thought, can cut deep, like a knife, leaving scars that may never fully heal. A reckless reaction can shift someone's entire journey, sending them down a road of insecurity, fear, or shame. You may not always witness the fallout of your choices, but I do. I see it all. I see the silent pain carried by those who have been wounded by words meant to be harmless. I see the confusion that ripples through relationships when compassion is withheld. So hear me clearly, child. Every decision you make is a step either forward, into the path I've lovingly prepared for you, or backward, into a place of detachment and delay. But know this, every time you choose love, you do not walk alone. Every time you forgive, every time you place another's need above your pride, you shift something in the world and in yourself. You move closer to the fulfillment I've written into your days. I gave you free will, not as a trap, but as a gift. Not so you would drift aimlessly, but so you would freely choose life, freely choose light, freely choose to love, not because you must, but because your heart has tasted what is true and no longer wants anything less. And though you may not see the full picture now, every choice for love sends waves through the world. Every gentle act, every quiet sacrifice, every encouraging word, it travels far. It touches places you'll never walk and hearts you'll never meet. And I see it all. I keep account of every seed sown in love, and I want you to know you are making a difference greater than you will ever fully comprehend on this side of eternity. So live each day with this truth etched deep in your spirit. Your life is part of something far bigger than yourself. You were never meant to live in isolation. Your journey is woven into the lives of those I've placed around you. And now, my child, let me remind you of the sacred calling I've placed upon your life, and the reason why your voice, your choice, matters more than ever. Now that you understand the ripple effect of your choices, I want to remind you of the deeper call I have placed upon your life, the call to love as I love. You are called, my child, not just to love those who are easy to embrace, who speak kindly, who understand your heart. You are called to love even those who push you away, who are difficult, who don't yet know how to return the love you offer. You are called to forgive, not only when it feels reasonable or deserved, but even when it stretches your heart to its edge. You are called to walk in the light, even when the world around you is filled with darkness, confusion, and conflict. And when you begin to live this way, with radical love, courageous forgiveness, and unwavering light. Your life will change in ways you never imagined. It will become richer, more complete, more aligned with the divine purpose I've woven into your very being. You will experience joy, not fleeting like the world gives, but deep, rooted, and eternal, because you will be walking in step with me. That joy doesn't come from ease. It comes from knowing you're where I've called you to be. And that peace you long for, it won't come from what the world offers. It will come from closeness with me, from the quiet assurance that your life is meaningful, your choices matter, and your heart is growing in truth. But be aware, your enemy knows this too. It lurks at every corner of your journey, watching, waiting for the moment you grow careless or weary. It rejoices not just when you fall, but when you allow negative emotions to guide you into destructive words, impulsive actions, or silent bitterness. Every time you choose anger over grace, pride over humility, revenge over love, the enemy celebrates, for he sees you stepping further away from the light I planted within you. But hear me, my beloved, you are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You are not a slave to emotion. You are not bound by your past, nor defined by your worst moments. You have the power to rise. You have the power to break free from those chains of darkness. You have the power to say, "No more," and step into the freedom I've been holding out to you. You can let go of bitterness. You can walk away from destructive patterns. You can choose forgiveness. You can choose love. You can choose life. I gave you free will so you could step forward freely, not trapped, but empowered. And I call you, even now, to choose the light. That's why I always invite you, gently but persistently, to seek wisdom. Seek my voice. Don't rush forward when your heart is storming with emotion. Don't let fleeting anger write your next sentence or determine your next step. Pause. Sit with me. Listen. Let me show you what's really happening. Not from the narrow lens of fear or pride, but from the wide, healing perspective of truth. Every action, every word you speak ripples outward. And I long for those ripples to carry healing, not harm, blessing, not brokenness. And you never have to face these decisions alone. I am with you, closer than breath, more faithful than any earthly voice. When your heart is sincere and humble, I will guide you. I will never let you be lost. I will uncover what is hidden, and I will give you eyes to see what is true. I will show you when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move forward and when to pause and wait. I will be that quiet voice within you, gently drawing you back to who you really are and the kind of life you're meant to live. But, my precious child, I cannot do that if you are not willing to listen. I cannot lead you if your heart is closed to me. And so, let me show you how to open your heart once more, to hear me clearly even in the stillness. Now that you've heard my voice calling you to walk in wisdom and light, I place before you the most sacred of invitations, one that only you can respond to from the depths of your soul. I have set before you two paths, life and death, blessing and curse. And I am calling you, pleading with you, choose life. Choose the way that brings freedom. Choose the path that leads to peace. You must learn to hear my voice above the noise of the world, above the fear, the pressure, the distraction. My voice is gentle, but it is steady. It doesn't compete for your attention. It waits for your permission. Listening to me is not something passive. It is an act of trust. It is a daily decision to return to stillness, to step away from the chaos, and to rest your heart in my presence. Make space for me. Take time to quiet your mind, to set down your worries, and to bring every concern before me. When you wait with patience, not in frustration, but in faith, you will find that I have been speaking all along, through the conversations you didn't expect, through doors that opened and doors that closed, through the hard moments you didn't understand. I speak not only through clarity, but also through challenge. And though trusting me doesn't mean the absence of struggle, it does mean you'll never be alone in it. When you trust me fully, even the hardest moments will carry purpose. Even the pain will lead somewhere sacred. I know this road isn't easy. I know there will be days you feel tired and ready to surrender. But hear me, child. I have never left your side, not for a second. I have been with you from your first breath. I've watched over you through every season, and I have never stopped believing in the strength I planted in you. I know what you carry. I know what you're capable of. And I know, if you keep your hand in mine, you will overcome. You are my warrior. You wear not the armor of the world, but the armor of love, of wisdom, and of courage. You were created to shine where others hide. You were born to bring hope into places that have forgotten it. You are the reflection of my heart to a world that's waiting to feel my love again. And no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter what shame tries to cling to your name, those things do not define you. Let me take them. Let me turn them into a testimony. Let me show the world what grace really looks like. I have prepared a path full of blessings for you, but you must choose to walk it. Choose life. Choose love. Choose trust. Let me lead you into the fullness you've been longing for. And now, as these words begin to settle in your heart, I invite you to do one thing: be still. Turn down the volume of the world. Step out of the whirlwind of daily worries. Quiet your heart. Let me meet you in the silence, for in that sacred hush, I will whisper what you most need to hear, and what you've been longing to know. Now, in this quiet moment where your heart is still, I invite you to look back, not with fear, not with shame, but with honesty and grace. Reflect on the choices you've made throughout your life. Gently trace your steps, every decision, every turn, every yes and no, from the bold to the unnoticed. Some of those choices brought joy. Some brought growth. Some brought connection and moments that made your soul feel alive. And others perhaps brought regret, pain, missed opportunities, broken words. But I am not asking you to look back to condemn yourself. I am not calling you to judgment. I am calling you to healing, to wholeness, to restoration. Think of how your life has touched the lives of others. You do not live in a vacuum. Your journey is not isolated. Life is not just a story about you, but a web of connections, a sacred network of relationships. Every word you've spoken, every action you've taken, carries the potential to shape someone's heart, for better or worse. So I invite you to ask the questions that bring clarity. Who have you lifted up? Who has found joy because of your presence? Who has been comforted by your kindness or strengthened by your faithfulness? But also, my child, have the courage to ask the harder questions. Has anyone been hurt by your silence? Have your words, perhaps spoken in haste, caused unseen tears? Have your actions, though unintentional, left someone feeling alone in their pain? If, in that reflection, you begin to see places that are not whole, relationships strained, hearts wounded, words that never should have been said, do not hide from them. Do not push them away or bury them beneath the weight of guilt. You were never meant to carry that burden. I'm not asking you to live under regret. I'm calling you to lay it all down at my feet. Bring it all to me, every broken piece, every heavy memory, every moment you wish you could undo, not because I demand some proof of repentance, but because I long to free you. I long to make you lighter. I long to see you walk in the joy of forgiveness, in the liberty of my grace. My beloved child, come to me not in fear, but in trust. I am gracious. I am merciful. I will never turn away when you come with a sincere heart. I will not shame you. I will not throw your failures in your face. I wait with arms wide open, ready to receive you as the beloved child I have never stopped loving. No matter how far you feel you've gone, no matter what marks the past has left on your soul, I am here. I have always been here, waiting, watching, loving. And when you finally turn toward me, I will embrace you and whisper, "Welcome home. You are mine." Let me heal you. Let me reach into the deepest places, the wounds no one else sees, the ones you've hidden so long, even from yourself. The pain you feared would never leave, the sorrow you've carried in silence. Let me wash it all away. Let me restore you, not just on the surface, but deep within your soul. And when I do, you will experience a peace the world has never been able to give. Because what comes next, my child, is not just about restoration. It's about renewal, a new life born from grace. After I heal what was broken and renew what was weary, I will not leave you where I found you. It doesn't end with restoration. This is only the beginning of the life I've always intended for you. I will walk with you into the fullness of your calling. I didn't create you simply to survive or exist. I designed you to live a life that pulses with meaning, a life overflowing with love that reflects mine, with joy that endures through hardship, and with peace that passes understanding. I placed within you something sacred, a mission uniquely yours, a purpose no one else can fulfill. You were not made to remain stuck in cycles of regret and sorrow. You were created to shine, to be a beacon in the midst of a world that often forgets what light feels like, to reflect my glory through every word you speak and every choice you make. And no, you do not have to be perfect to begin. You do not have to have it all figured out or feel strong every day. All I ask is that you open your heart, just enough for me to come in. Let me do the work of renewal. Trust that I, the one who sees every part of your story, can take every broken piece and transform it into something beautiful. I will take what was meant to harm you and make it holy. I will turn the pain into wisdom, the failure into growth, the loss into a doorway to deeper love. I do not promise ease, but I promise presence. You will never walk this journey alone. And so now, in this sacred moment, I invite you to rest. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let the noise of the world fall away. Let your heart be still before me. Let me whisper to you what you've longed to hear. You are loved completely, unconditionally, eternally. Let me quiet every fear and dissolve every doubt. Let me replace them with my peace and renew your faith to keep moving forward. Believe with me that the best is not behind you, but ahead. Walk with me, child, not in rush, but in rhythm. Let your soul find calm in my presence. Whether you carry the wounds of yesterday or the worries of tomorrow, I am here to hold them all. Offer them to me. Pour them out, not with shame, but with trust. And from that place of surrender, lift your voice, not in fear, but in prayer. Lord, in this sacred moment, I come before you with humility, fully aware that my choices carry a weight beyond what I see. I recognize now that even the smallest decisions ripple through eternity, touching lives in ways I may never know. If I have, in my unawareness, opened a door to darkness, through carelessness, through silence, through delay, I ask for your forgiveness. Please, Lord, shut every door I left ajar, seal every gap, redeem what has been lost, restore what the enemy has tried to steal. I cry out to you, God of mercy and power, for your divine intervention. Step into this situation before it is too late. Reach out and rescue the one who is in danger, the one you placed on my heart. Wrap them in your peace, a peace so deep, so unshakable, that it surpasses all human understanding. Lead them back, not by force, but with your loving hand, back to the safety of your will, back to the path of healing and purpose. Give me the wisdom I lack, Lord. Teach me how to respond. Place words on my lips that bring life, not confusion. Let my actions be like a shelter, like light piercing the dark for those around me. Shield the one who is vulnerable. Guard them from every trap, every deception, every whisper of the enemy. In faith, I declare your protection over their life. I speak your authority over every plan of darkness. Break it, cancel it, dismantle every scheme set against them. Let your power reign where fear once tried to dwell. Let your angels encamp around them, and may your truth silence every lie. Lord, remind me again, I do not live alone. I do not act in a vacuum. My life touches many. My actions carry weight. My words plant seeds. Let me walk each day with that holy awareness. I pray not only for mercy over my own life, but for those whose hearts may have been bruised by my failures. Heal them. Restore what I cannot fix with my own hands. Reach the places I cannot reach. Lord, awaken me to the power of prayer, not as a final option, but as a first response. Birth in me a heart that stands in the gap with conviction and compassion. Let me not hesitate. Let me not remain silent when you are calling me to speak. Give me courage, not comfort. Give me obedience, not delay. I know the enemy watches for every unguarded moment, but I believe in something greater. I believe in you, and I trust that your strength is unmatched, that no darkness can overpower the one who is light. So, move, Lord. Move now. Surround the one in danger with your presence. Give them clarity to see what is true and the strength to resist what is false. Lead them not only away from harm, but into freedom. Thank you for never abandoning me. Thank you for loving me even in my stumbling, even in my silence. Guide me, Lord. Guide us, me and the one I pray for, on the path of reconciliation, healing, and purpose. May we walk in your will. May our lives reflect your goodness, and may your name be glorified through our restoration. I offer this prayer in faith, in surrender, in hope, and in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If this message has touched your heart, if you believe God is speaking to you today, I invite you to walk with us. Subscribe, stay connected, and let us grow in faith together, step by step, day by day, as we live in the fullness of His love, His grace, and His calling. This isn't just another message. This is your moment to respond. Let His presence fill your life. And always remember, you are not alone. You are His, forever. Amen.